One of the very common and persistent myths around this issue is thinking that because someone is coming in on a less than full-time basis, i.e. a part-time worker, they can be a consultant. And that's simply not the case.
Another issue with consultants is that companies, especially startups, think that you can treat them exactly like employees. They can sit side by side with employees in the same kind of role and even go to company meetings, company offsites, etc. But ultimately, when you treat a consultant like an employee, the law essentially says, well, this is now potentially an employee of yours.
You have to classify an employee as either hourly non-exempt or as a salaried exempt employee, and it is very much the case in the startup world that the vast majority of employees, especially at the early stage of the company, are treated as salaried exempt. It really becomes a problem as you scale.
If you've ever thought of the old adage of innocent till proven guilty, I'm sure you've heard that on TV and otherwise, you are hourly until proven salaried.
There are basically three factors now that courts, the IRS, and other agencies will scrutinize and look at in this area to see whether someone is truly a contractor. First, are they in business for themselves? Are they performing services through their own entity to multiple businesses? Second, are they subject to a limited amount of supervision and control by the startup or by the company? And third, are they performing services that are not core to the business? In practical terms for a startup, there are really three exemptions that they want to be focused on. The first is the executive exemption, and that's for a person at a fairly senior level in the company who has direct supervisory authority over 2 or more full-time employees, and they are performing duties that require discretion and independent judgment.
The administrative exemption is one of the most difficult exemptions. It's applied pretty broadly, even though under the law it's very narrow. But ultimately, it's people who help the business operate, so HR, finance, legal, and other departments.
The third most common classification for startups in this area is the computer professional exemption. And this is an exemption that applies to predominantly software engineers.
When it comes to classifying a worker as a consultant or employee, I would say that for consultants, you should think about whether the work they're going to do is core to your business and how much control you're going to exercise over them. For employees, I would say look at their function, look at their title, and ultimately look at the level of work that they're doing in order to determine whether they should be hourly or salaried.